What's up guys, welcome back to Aquatic Elements. Today we are at Sweet Knowle Aquatics, just to the east of Birmingham, and we're going to be taking a tour around their shop here. So let's check it out. So coming in to the shop, we've got a big central sort of reservation full of aquariums in the middle of the store, and then surrounding around the outside, we've got all of these really low tanks, which makes viewing pretty easy. Now, starting off, I'll head around the outside. We've got a couple of piranha. I believe one is a red belly, and I'm not sure on the other species. So if you do know what piranha that is, let me know down in the comment section. But I have noticed this shop is absolutely full of this plant here, which is subwassatang, and it looks super healthy. Now, I'm not going to dwell on every single tank, but I'll try and capture as much as possible and really show some of the unique species that they've got here, maybe a few of the oddballs, but try and take a look through most of the tanks. Now, the shop also has a small selection of pond fish, cold water fish. They have some koi, goldfish, and they've even got a couple of shark ranchu, which are really cute looking. And they've also got all of their dry goods like the wood and rocks, as well as all of the fish they offer. And coming back, we've got some more of that subwassatang. Now, I think all of these tanks they're probably 4.5 to 5 feet in length, and these are full of loads of different live bearers, loads of different platies. We've got the blacks in there. And you will notice that all of these tanks are filtered with under gravel filters, and they're all super clean. Every single tank we're going to see is really clean. And I assume that it's just down to the under gravel filters. Now moving through, we've got some more live bearers, and then we've actually perfectly timed it. The fire eel has just come out of his tube. So I'd say he's probably a good 18 inches or so. Really cool. And I haven't actually kept eels before, but the fire eels are very pretty, really unique species. And then just next door, we've even got another fire eel in with loads of live bearers. Again, probably 16 to 18 inches. And then in this 6-foot tank, we've got a massive red-tailed catfish that's got to be pushing 24 inches or so. So those are the perimeter tanks all around the edge of the store. So now we're going to head through and check out some more of the fish they've got along the center. So because they are using the under gravel filters, every single one of these tanks is individually filtered, meaning that if they do have any sort of diseases, parasites, issues, they can separate or have each tank separate and treat individually, which is good for biosecurity and confining one tank from another. Now, some of the tanks have different plants in, different hardscapes, wood, so you might find that some of the tanks, like these ones here, have got quite a lot of tannins in. I've just spotted a striped Raphael catfish just tucked in that back corner there. And then moving through, we've got the live bearer section. And make sure to let me know what's your favourite fish in the store. What do you think maybe this store could change or maybe do better on? But it's definitely a unique setup, and I've not really seen a shop like this before. It's really accessible, nice to see all of the fish, plenty of space to get past other customers and take a look round at everything they've got to offer. So it doesn't feel cramped in here at all. You can see we've got some crebensis here. There's a really big male at the back of the tank. And then coming up to some cherry barbs. And we've got some celestial peldanios or CPDs up here, with a few bits of slate and some subwassatang. A very small nano species, but they have a beautiful pattern to them. Really good for small tanks of around 40 litres or more. And then we've got some Severums down here with the Adolphi Cories. You can see some small guys dotted on the gravel at the front there. Got some Kahaku guppies, which are really, really nice. Some of these guys have even got sort of like a yellow body to them as well. Now up top we've got some cichlids. Now I don't know exactly what species these are. They look similar to an Ellioti, but I don't think they are. They might be some kind of Texas cichlid. If you do know what these guys are, leave a little comment down below. Next to the X-ray tetras. Then in these tanks we've got some silver sharks next to the giant Danios. Now some of the tanks do have the labels above them with the pricing on. So if you do see anything you like in the video, you can pause it and have a look at that. I really like this little bit of bogwood. We've got some nice, I think it's Christmas moss or flame moss in with the Bucephalandra with these neon tetras. And then this tank is absolutely full of duckweed, and we've got some guppies. And we are coming to the end of this section. So as we head round, we're going to head round to the other side of the shop. Got a few angels. Now there is a sort of display of angels at the end of the shop, which we will have a look at. But that is the first row of tanks. Now moving around, most of the big tanks at the side are full of different live bearers. So we will head through those. Loads of breeding live bearers, and then we've got a massive selection of different African cichlids. And there is a whole wall full of African cichlids in the next room, which we will have a look at after we've gone down the central aisle. And then we come to the plant display where they've got loads of different tropical plants, from your Java ferns to your Anubias crypts and your Amazon saws as well. Now here is the little selection of angels that they've got here before we head up through that last aisle. Looks like we've got some Orinoco's in here and the Pinoys, which are these guys just here. Now they aren't labelled up on the top, but that's what I believe they are. Different size ranges, and then we've got some yellows. And then up top we've got the Epistogramma, Cocotoides. That male has got some lovely coloration to him. So we've got a mix of male and females in there. And then just next to them we've got some Synodontis petricola, which are a small sized African catfish. Get to around the 12 centimetre mark. And then these guys are really cool. Let me know in the comment section if you know what these are. I think they might be a pygmy sunfish. Or is it a goodyead maybe? If you guys do know what they are, just trying to get a bit of focus on them. Let me know down below, but they look like massive platies. Now coming to the next line of tanks we've got down the middle of the shop. We've got some black mollies, some cobra or tiger endlers. We've got a fighter in this tank. Looks to me like a mustard gas with the orange caudal fin and blue body. And then we've got some different mixed Caridina, or Neocaridina I should say, shrimp. We've got the yellows, blues, and we've even got some reds in there, all over those Marimo moss balls. This tank looks like we've got some pygmy cories in there. Really, really small species of Corydoras. And then some tiny little hoplos. They're probably an inch long, really, really small. A great clean-up catfish to have in your aquarium. And they don't get too big. And we've got the black phantoms coming through to some gold tiger barbs. Pretty cool, they're almost like a translucent colour. And then some very, very big harlequins. Really good size. I noticed all of the fish in the shop look really, really healthy. They've got really good tummies to them. They look like they've been really well fed. And as I've mentioned, all the tanks are super, super clean. So definitely, if you're after your bread and butter fish, more of your community fish, so smaller species, this is definitely a nice shop to come to. Loads of different tetras, danios, angels, cories, and I'm sure there's going to be loads of different plecos that I've probably missed throughout this video. We've got some tiger green barbs, green tiger barbs, and then we've got some bloodfin tetras, but they look a little bit different to the normal bloodfin tetras. So I think these might be a different species. Green fire bloodfin. Don't think I've seen those guys before, next to the keyhole cichlids. Moving through, we've got some more blood tetras next to some crebensis. Now, I've just checked that these are listed as the Matardi crebensis, and I don't think I've seen this species before. They're quite a lot more pale than the standard cribs you get from Africa, so they must be a different species. Let me know if you've ever kept these before, or if you've seen these sort of unique and oddball cribs. And that looks like potentially a male there. The really sort of pink abdomen or tummy area. I've just spotted a nice looking plec in this tank, just hidden behind the subwassertang there. And then another tetra I've not seen before. They're like a silver colour, almost like a silver tip tetra, but with a silver body instead of a gold body. Now they're listed as the Nigo Dagua tetra. So I assume these are a wild caught fish, 12 pounds each. I would have thought they would be wild caught, but I think they think I'm giving them a little bit of food there, darting about. And then probably some of the biggest cardinals I've ever seen. These guys are chunky, really, really good body shapes to them, very, very well fed, and these are going to be very, very hardy. Really, really nice quality next to these peacock gudgeon. Now these are another smaller fish, get to around the 6 to 7.5 centimetre mark, and they have a lovely red pattern to the body and yellow dorsal and anal fin. You can see there's a male just flaring at one of the females back there. Just check out the colours on him. Really, really nice. Very, very bright, vibrant, unique, body-shaped nano species. And we've got some lovely bluegrass guppies in with plenty more subwassertang. Up top we've got a few Congo tetras, and then we've got the African, or the striped African glass catfish. I think the other name for these is the Dawarbi catfish, getting to around the 10 to 12 centimetre mark. Pretty cool species. And then coming towards the end of this main section, before we head and finish up in the African cichlid room, we've got a few more different tetras. Just spotted a few rams, some Bolivian rams in this tank, which are all hiding at the back. And then we've got a lovely, I think that is a vampire plec in this tank. So that brings us to the end of the main section in the fish house. But as I said, plenty of different bread and butter species, and all looking super healthy. So let's head through to the African cichlid section and see what they've got in there. So moving through to the African cichlid section, you can see we've got quite a lot of tanks to see. And then each of the cichlids is separately kept in the individual tanks. So we've got some bawlii up top. Got some Mangano. Really nice blue and black coloration to these guys. And then the red zebras are literally all hidden in the back corner. But they're looking very clear, the aquariums. I don't think these are filtered on the undergravel filters, but more on a centralised sump system. But again, really clear systems. I've got quite a few different species in here. These guys are really nice. I can see the male just right at the front here, almost like a bumblebee, but more of a a yellow and black coloration. And then we got some Cyanotilapia afri, or afra, and the red empress. We've got some Hongi Sweden, which look very similar to the rusty African cichlids. That sort of orange top and dorsal fin. And then we've got some Soloses in here, which are a type of mbuna. So these are a bit smaller than the peacocks that we've seen, and they come from Lake Malawi. And then coming through to some more peacocks, we've got some OBs, which are like a mottled black and white colour. And then your bog standard Libidichroma sorellus, or otherwise known as the yellow labs. Probably one of the first fish that I've actually ever kept. Really, really bright in colour. And then we've got some yellowtail ACI, the blue bodies and the yellow caudal fins. Well, these are pretty cool. Don't think I've seen these guys before. They've got a really unique mouth shape. It's kind of downturned. I've just had a look at the label there, listed as the scrape mouth mbuna. Really unique. So coming on to the last section, I think we've got more of the mbuna along this racking system. We've got some orange zebras next to the white tops here. Really nice blue coloration to them with that white top on the dorsal fin. And then we've got some albino zebras. All looking really, really healthy, nice and active. I think they probably think I'm going to feed them as it's the end of the day. And then we've got a few more OBs down the bottom. These are quite nice with the yellow coloration to them. And then coming to some, these are listed as hornets. I think they're also called a bumblebee cichlid. Ah, here we go, another mbuna, which is the Demasoni. Really nice zebra, blue and black coloration to them. These can be really, really aggressive cichlids, and they definitely pack a punch for their size. We've got the Venustus, gets a lovely, lovely coloration and giraffe-like pattern to it as it gets older. The yellows and the browns. And then coming to the last section, we've got a couple of more unique African cichlids. So we've got the Brashadi, which are from Lake Tanganyika. A lovely, long, slender body. And then up top, I don't actually know what these guys are. So if anyone knows what these are, let me know in the comments. They almost look like a marine fish, almost like a damselfish. But I assume they're probably coming from Lake Tanganyika. Big, big cichlid with silver coloration. And then coming down to the Liliupai, which are these yellow Tanganyikan African cichlids. So a really nice selection of African cichlids. Loads of different fish. I've just noticed we've also got some tropical plants on the front desk. So we've got some different mosses, which are on these little grates here. And then they've also got a selection of dry goods in here as well. So that brings us to the full tour here at Sweet Knowle Aquatics. Nice selection, good selection of lots of really, really healthy fish, a really clean store. They definitely didn't specialise in any oddballs or any specific fish, but a nice overall good collection. And I definitely recommend coming here if you have a community tank or you're breeding fish, keeping smaller species. I'm going to wrap up the full tour there. And that is it for today's video here at Sweet Knowle Aquatics. A massive, massive shop with loads of different bread and butter fish. Definitely specialised in more of the smaller, more common fish, but a really, really unique setup, especially with all of the under gravel filters and the range of species. But that's it for today's video. If you've got any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. We've got lots more shop tours and lots more tank tours coming very soon, so make sure to subscribe. But thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.